All right, morning, everybody. Do we have the jail yet?
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Poston. Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Court Interpreter Pedro Davis. I'll be standing right for one individual.
Thank you. Yes, I think we shouldn't be, let's see, about 7 or 8 cases down, and we should be good to go.
Thank you.
There it is.
Bigger coffee.
Bradford.
Good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Benjamin Reed Bradford.
Just one moment, Bradford. Mr. Bradford, we're gonna get your file really quick. Okay. We were informed that you were being continued on today's date. Are you ready to proceed with your initial appearance, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I wonder if we had the wrong defendant who was identified. Just one moment. We need to get your paperwork back up here. Just one moment. Court will
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
While we're waiting on that information, can the jail indicate, do we have anybody who's refusing to report this morning?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Forbes refused to come down today, and Mr. Paso is out of facility.
Okay, thank you. I think that's maybe where the mix-up was. We may have had Mr. Forbes refusing instead of Mr. Bradford, so that makes sense. Okay. So can we send back? Is Bradford already approved? Or no, it's a city. City, yeah. So okay. All right. Sorry, Mr. Brad. We had a mix-up with. So we'll get you out of here as soon as we can.
Thank you.
So for purposes of the record, we're going to go ahead and continue Mr. Forbes and Mr. Yuko PCO on today's date.
You want me to finish filling it out after you see them?
I'll take it back. It's okay. You can refill it out.
The old one is on top. The new one that you need to sign is on first.
Right. Okay, so Mr. Bradford, sorry about that delay. So you are currently being charged with one count of disorderly conduct. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. In review of the information before the court, this time the court is going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at future proceedings. The court is going to have some conditions of release for you. However, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal beverages, not to commit any acts of domestic violence. You're also presently not able to go to the residence of the victim. That would be Jamie Bradford. You are permitted to go one time with a law enforcement officer to retrieve personal belongings, and additionally not to possess any firearms or weapons for the duration of the order. The court is going to be setting your next hearing in this matter as a out of custody pretrial hearing. That's going to be April 8th, 2025 at Tucson City Court. That's going to be at 2:30 p.m. April 8th, 2025, 2:30 p.m. at City Court. Make sure that you appear at that hearing. Failure to appear could result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. And then, sir, do you have any questions at this time?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome, and you are excused. Thank you, sir.
You have a good day.
And then who do we have as defense counsel today?
Katie Vol.
Well, I'm sorry, what was your last name again?
Vol, V-O-L-L.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Vol.
And then you
All right, good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Abdul Ghani Hamathil.
Mr. Hemmet, you're here today on account of assault with intent or knowingly cause injury. This is a misdemeanor offense. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Based upon the information available to the court, and just give me one moment to review something really quick. Okay, so in review of the information before the court is going to order that you be released on today's date on your promise to appear at future proceedings. There are some conditions of release. You're not to consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. Additionally, no contact with the victim in this matter, Brita Sandelin. You're also not to go to her residence or workplace. The court is setting your next hearing, March 26th, 2025, 10:30 a.m., and that's at the Oro Valley City Court. So make sure that you appear at that hearing. Failure to appear could result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you are excused. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Mr. Hernandez? Oh, yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name, please?
Paulina Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez, you're being seen today on account of criminal damage, which is a misdemeanor offense. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. In review of information before the court is going to order on today's date that you be released on your promise to appear at future proceedings. There are a couple of conditions of release. So you're not to commit any further acts of domestic violence and not to possess any firearms or weapons. And you are obligated to appear at future proceedings. Your next court date is April 10, 2025, 9:30 a.m. for a pretrial hearing with Judge Cranshaw over at Tucson City Court. So make sure you appear at that hearing April 10, or a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Do you have any questions at this time?
No.
Okay, then you're all set. You're excused. Thank you.
So,
Ms. Rich?
Okay, can you state your name, please?
Giovanni Rich.
Ms. Rich, you're here today on a count of one count of assault, one count of disorderly conduct. These are misdemeanor offenses. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. In review of the information before the court, including input from the victim, the court is going to order that you be released on today's date with some release conditions. Your release conditions include that you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to commit any further acts of domestic violence. And at the present time, you're not to go to the victim's residence, the victim being Maricela Rich. Are you living with that victim?
No, I'll be moving when I get out today.
You have belongings at the residence?
I do.
You want an opportunity to pick those up?
Please.
Okay, so the court will order that you are permitted to return one time to the resident. However, with a law enforcement officer, you're going to have to call law enforcement to arrange that, to retrieve your personal belongings. So your next court date in this matter is going to be a pretrial hearing, April 7, 2025, 9:00 a.m. That's with Judge Hale at the city court. You'll receive a copy of that information when you are discharged today. And so make sure you appear at that hearing, April 7. Failure to appear could result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, sir.
And you're excused. Thank you.
Mr. Richardson?
Okay, good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Mr. Richardson.
Mr. Richardson, you're being seen today on a number of charges for assault, obstruction, resisting arrest, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. These are misdemeanor offenses. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Can the jail confirm, do we have a probation hold on Mr. Richardson?
Right, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Richardson, regardless of what the court would be doing today regarding release, you do have what's called a probation hold, which needs to be resolved with adult probation before you can be released. In consideration of the pending charges, the court does believe, though, that a nominal bond is appropriate to ensure appearance in court and based upon the nature of the charges. So the court is setting bond in the amount of $500 cash or secured, and with some conditions of release. If you do post bond, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, not have any contact with the alleged victims, not to go back to the incident location. And the court is appointing counsel for you, the city public defender's office, to represent you. Your next court date in this matter is a video review, March 21st, 2025, 1:45 p.m. And that's with Judge Verena at the city court. If everything is resolved and you're able to post bond and actually be released before the 21st, you still need to appear at that hearing March 21st, or a warrant could be issued for your arrest. And that's a lot of information for you, sir. Any questions at this time?
I'm requesting, being that I already have probation hold, is there a way that I can just have this be released on my own requirements on this misdemeanor offense, on these misdemeanors?
Well, part of the reason at this time that the court's going to deny the request, the court is setting bond in this matter as well in order to ensure your appearance at future proceedings, regardless of what happens with the probation hold, and also based upon the nature of the conduct that was described. If I'm being honest, when I looked at the charges before, I saw that there was probation hold, the bond was to be a lot higher. So I've reduced it down from what I was going to institute. So under the circumstances, this is just what the court deems is appropriate. So I've heard your request today, sir. I'm going to deny that request. However, you can talk to city public defender about reducing that bond and or having it eliminated at a future hearing. But for today's purposes, $500 cash and secure bond is what the court's ordering. Okay, sir? All right, you're excused. Thank you. Okay, good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
My name's Paso.
Mr. Champeau, you're here today on, do we have anybody else in the room right now, or do you want to waive reading, Ms. Fall? How would you like to do it?
Waive reading.
Okay, court's going to waive reading at this time. If you need clarification as to the pending charge and you want to confer with the defense counsel who's there, I'll give you that opportunity. Would you like to do that, Mr. Champeau, or are you aware of why you're here today?
I'm kind of not really though. I'm a little confused on it.
Let's mute it. Let's mute. And if you want to, Ms. Fall, go over that real quick. We'll need to proceed in just a moment if we can wrap up the conference. Sorry, folks. Okay, all right then. So, Mr. Champeau, having afforded an opportunity for you to talk to counsel, you are being charged with a felony offense. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. There is provisional counsel seated next to you to assist you on today's date. The state is recommending that bond be set in the amount of $7,500 plus release to pretrial services. Any additional record, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
And would defense like to be heard, Ms. Fall?
So, Your Honor, Mr. Champeau's requesting release. He's let me know that he has had good contact with his PO, or I'm not sure. So So he's on probation, but he's doing well, and I don't see a probation hold. He's had good contact. It sounds like there's a dispute about where he was living in the interim complaint. He says that he was compliant with his registration. He was doing what he was supposed to do. I'll also note this is a nonviolent offense. He's 33 years old. The underlying offense for which he has to register took place when he was 19 years old. He has a landscaping job that he risks losing if he's held in custody.
Okay.
And he's willing to abide by any conditions the court puts forth.
Okay, Mr. Shampoo, I'm going to give you an opportunity here. Here's the thing, and mainly because I think that if I was to set bond, I don't know if you're going to be able to pay it anyways, if you lose your job. But here's the thing, I'm seeing in your criminal history, you've got 2 prior issues with the same thing that we're here for today. Normally, that's the basis for me to hold you on a bond. So I'm going to give you a chance here, but make sure that you abide by these conditions of release. Are you going to be able to do the necessary registration as required by the court with the identification unit if the court releases you on today's date?
Whatever you guys need me to do.
Okay. So at this time, what the court's going to do is the court's going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at future proceedings. The court will order as conditions of release that you report to the Pima County Sheriff's Department Identification Unit at 1650 East Benson Highway, Suite D, within 2 business days following your release, and to complete necessary registration. Court will also order that you contact your assigned probation officer on the 1st business day following your release. So by the end of the day tomorrow, you need to make sure that you contact your probation officer and check in. Court is going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you. Next court date in this matter is going to be March 31st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing at the Justice Court. That's March 31st, 1:30 p.m. At the Justice Court. Make sure that you abide by all these conditions. If you don't, that's a basis to issue a warrant for your arrest or find that you violated your conditions, and then we're going to have you arrested on all over again. Does that make sense, Mr. Shampoo?
That makes perfect sense, sir.
Okay, then at that point, and if there are no questions, then you are excused. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Medina.
Medina.
Medina Miranda. Well, we're gonna see what's happening.
Good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Good morning, Oscar Medina.
Mr. We show your true name is Oscar Medina Miranda. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, sir, you're being seen today on felony charges of domestic violence, sexual assault, domestic violence, aggravated assault, and domestic violence kidnapping. These are all felony offenses. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. There's counsel seated next to you to assist you on today's date. The state is recommending bond be set in the amount of $100,000 plus release of pretrial services if bond is posted. Any additional record, Mr. Poston?
Your Honor, the state's comments in the recommendation speak for themselves. This was a brutal assault that escalated in the most terrible way. This person violated an OP. He clearly does not care about orders of the court. High bond is necessary to preserve the safety per the 4C and just per all the sum of the facts, the totality of the facts. 100,000.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Poston, and then Ms. Fall.
So, Your Honor, what I see here is that Mr. Medina has no prior felonies. He does have a prior misdemeanor. However, it's from 2018. The victim did not object to his release. He's got full-time employment and he provides financial support for 2 children. So with regard to the order of protection, it does appear that he was in violation of that. However, the victim wanted him at his house. So, it's not as if he were over there bothering her without her consent. It sounds like she wanted him there and, they were together. He's willing to abide by any court orders. If the court releases him, which is what he's asking for, he's willing to abide by any orders the court puts forth. This was an 11-year relationship that he's had with the victim. So that kind of helps explain the circumstances surrounding the order of protection. Also, in looking at the interim complaint, it's not completely clear that the victim you know, communicated a lack of desire with regard to sexual activity between them.
Just reviewing the complaint again.
But either way, he is presumed innocent, Your Honor, and he's willing to stay away from the victim and abide by any conditions the court puts forward.
Well, at this time, the court is going to institute bond in the amount of $15,000 cash or secured with release to pretrial services. The bond is posted. The court is reluctant to accept the bond amount indicated by the state, although on its face, these allegations are fairly severe. I'm taking into account that there is a possibility that this may have been consensual, but I don't know for sure. Violation of an active protective order, though, is weighing on my mind as well. So that'll be the basis for the bond being set at this time. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, surrender any firearms, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. No contact with the victim, Janelle Moran, at this time, not to go to her residence or workplace. Court will appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And next court date, sir, is March 21st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Justice Court. I'm not exactly sure what happened in this particular case. I think there's an adequate factual basis to find probable cause for an offense, but there may be, as counsel indicated, extenuating circumstances that maybe dampen the severity of the conduct. You'll have an opportunity to speak with your public defender, sir, to determine whether there's a basis for modification of conditions of release or reduction of bond as well. So, but under the circumstances, I'm weighing on the side of caution in case that there was not consent for these acts. So, any questions at this time?
He's asking you.
No, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
We'll let the record reflect over the state's objection, Your Honor, please.
Yeah, the court will indicate that the establishment of bond is over the state's objection.
Jenner, have you ever heard the interpreter okay? No, Turner's not okay. Hey, Judge, we need to put some shit on the record. Hey, good morning, Mark Turner, the fucking first.
All right, let's, court's going to order that the jail remove Mr. Turner, please. We're going to continue a session to the afternoon. Thank you.
No, this is not. I'm a little frustrated. It's justified. Black.
So the court is ordering at this time that the initial appearance be continued to the afternoon session. Sir, your acts are prima facie evidence of contemptuous acts before the court. So in lieu of holding you in contempt, I'm just going to let you think about your conduct, and we'll set you in the afternoon. You're excused. Thank you.
Oh.
The court was going to order at this time that the jail officials please have Mr. Turner sent back to his cell, and the court will order all necessary force needed to accomplish that.
Time's up.
think we should have Mr. Flores next for the interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you hear me all right?
So far we can, yes.
Thank you.
Lo siento ahí, por favor.
Can the interpreter inquire with the defendant whether this is Mr. Flores?
Señor, ¿es usted Orlando Flores?
Sí,
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Flores. We're doing an initial appearance for you today.
Buenos días, señor Flores. Hoy vamos a celebrar una audiencia de comparecencia inicial en su caso.
You have a warrant that you've been picked up on for failure to appear.
Tiene usted una orden de detención por cual lo recogieron por falta de comparecencia.
And the underlying offenses were criminal trespass and criminal damage.
Y los cargos originales fueron ingreso ilícito a propiedad ajena y provocar daños a propiedad ajena de gravedad penal.
You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Tiene usted derecho de guardar silencio. Cualquier cosa que diga podrá y será usada en contra suya.
If the court was to release you on today's date, do you promise to appear at your next court date and resolve your pending charges?
Ahora, si llegara yo a decidir excarcelarle, ¿promete usted bajo palabra presentarse en la audiencia que se programe después para resolver este caso que sigue pendiente? Señor, el juez le pregunta que si le deja salir, se presentará cuando le toque para resolver el caso que tiene pendiente.
sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that if you did not appear again, a warrant would be issued, you'd be arrested again, and the next judge may not be as flexible with your bond?
Ahora, ¿entiende usted que si no se presentara a la siguiente audiencia, lo detendrían con una orden de aprehensión, sería arrestado y el próximo juez tal vez no sería tan flexible en imponerle condiciones flexibles o fianza accesible? ¿Entiende?
Sí.
Yes.
At this time, the court orders that you be released on your promise to appear.
Entonces voy a ordenar el día de hoy que se le excarcele bajo palabra de presentarse cuando le corresponda.
The court also orders that any prior release conditions are affirmed.
También ordeno que cualquier condición que se le haya puesto anteriormente cuando fue excarcelado finalmente sigan en su efecto y vigor originales.
And the court sets your next hearing, April 8th, 2025, 2:00 p.m.
La próxima comparecencia en su caso será el día 8 de abril a las 2 de la tarde.
And that's at the Tucson City Court.
Eso será en el Tribunal Municipal de Tucson.
Make sure that you appear at that hearing on April 8th or a warrant to be issued for your arrest.
Ahora, asegúrese de presentarse ese día. De otra manera, se ordena su detención de nuevo.
Any questions, sir?
¿Alguna pregunta, señor? ¿Tiene alguna pregunta, señor?
¿Tiene pregunta?
¿Tiene pregunta para el juez?
Que me dieron una oportunidad para seguir criando a mis hijos y portarme mejor aquí. Yo voy a ir a la audiencia.
Just to grant me the opportunity to continue providing for my children, and I will go to the next hearing.
That is good to hear, and please make sure that you appear and you are excused at this time. Thank you, sir.
Es grato escuchar eso de parte suya, señor. Asegúrese de presentarse la próxima vez y es todo por hoy. Puede retirarse.
Judge Dale here.
Yeah.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Jail here, just wanted to let the court be advised that Mr. Flores does have a ICE detainer on him.
El personal de la cárcel le informa al juez que tiene usted en efecto una orden de detención del Departamento de Inmigración. Espere.
So, Mr. Flores, the court is informed that you have a hold by Immigration, Customs and Enforcement.
Señor Flores, me acaba de informar que usted tiene una arresto de detención vigente en contra suya del Departamento de Inmigración y Protección de la Frontera.
In light of that means that the court is unable to release you on today's date.
Entonces, en vista de esa información nueva, se me prohíbe excarcelarle el día de hoy.
So the court is setting bond in the amount of $100, cash or secured.
Entonces voy a poner una fianza nominal de $100, sea en dinero efectivo o asegurado por propiedad.
Tú,
May I say something?
In just one moment,
Un momento, señor.
It's not high school.
the court is also appointing the city public defender's office to represent you.
También voy a designar al abogado de oficio municipal para que se encargue de su defensa.
Because of the ICE hold by the Federal Immigration Authority, you will want to speak with your attorney about posting bond in this case.
En vista de esta identificación, la autoridad federal le recomiendo que hable con su abogado sobre su caso.
And so that is something for you to consider before you post the bond, as if you are released, you may be taken into federal custody.
Entonces, posiblemente le interese considerar el hecho de depositar la fianza o no, porque si no le deposita la fianza, pasaría a manos de migración.
te digo, no escuché bien, por favor.
I didn't hear that clearly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if you post bond in this case, you may be taken into federal custody with ICE.
Lo que le digo es que si deposita la fianza, en lugar de salir del cárcel, pasaría a manos de migración.
So
Voy a depositar.
¿Cómo?
what did the defendant say?
I didn't quite hear that. Repite lo que dijo el señor.
Que hay que depositar $100.
So you're saying it's necessary that I need to deposit $100 bond?
No, all I'm saying is you should speak to your attorney that I'm assigning you today before you post that bond, but it's ultimately up to you.
Lo que le digo es que debería de hablar con el abogado que le acabo de designar el día de hoy, ya después cuando hable él con usted sobre el hecho de depositar la fianza. Pero depende de usted realmente qué hacer o no.
Está bien.
That's fine.
Okay, then you are excused. Thank you, sir.
Pues bien, entonces puede retirarse. Gracias, señor.
Can you put the other court date on here, please? And I don't believe we have any other Spanish speakers, so you are excused, Mr. Davis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Miguel Aguirre.
Mr. Aguirre, we've got you here for two matters. We'll take them one at a time. The first matter that we're here for is a charge of aggravated DUI. This is a class 4 felony. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. There is counsel seated next to you to assist you on today's date. The state is recommending bond be set in the amount of $5,000 with release to pretrial services if bond is posted. Any additional record, Mr. Poston?
Your Honor, the state asked for the bond simply because this is not his first DUI. He has a misdemeanor record and he's likely facing jail if convicted on a stated crime. Also, the inherent risk that a DUI DUI charge poses to the community.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Poston. Ms. Full, any record?
So, Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Aguirre this morning. He's requesting to be released to pretrial services or on his own recognizance. He let me know that he's a manager at Jiffy Lube. He is scheduled to work today and hoping that he can go to work. He'd prefer not to risk his full-time employment and quality employment by being in jail. He's 45 years old, has no prior felony offense no prior felony convictions. He's got a stable residence to live in. He just got an apartment that he does not want to lose. He's also an only child and has an elderly mother who relies on his assistance. He's basically involved in her care on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ball. This time the court is going to institute bond in the amount of $5,000 cash or secured with release to pretrial services if bond is posted. Conditions of release if bond is posted include not to drive without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs, follow monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Court is appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent the defendant. And preliminary hearing is set March 21st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Pima County Justice Court. Mr. Aguirre, make sure you appear at future proceedings. Failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued. Any questions at this time?
None at all, sir.
Thank you, sir. You're excused. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more matter for Mr. Aguirre. I went a little bit too quick there. Yeah. So, Ms. Fall, we have one more matter for Mr. Aguirre whenever you're ready.
Okay.
So additionally, we have, sorry, Mr. Aguirre, we have one more misdemeanor charge for you. And that's for possession of alcohol, open container of alcohol. This is a misdemeanor offense. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You're already being held as to the other matter. So the court at this time is going to be instituting a nominal bond as to this open container charge of $250 cash or secured. Court will appoint counsel for you, Gary Grinkowicz, to represent you as to the misdemeanor matter. You're not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs until further court order. And then as to this open container charge, you do have a court hearing set tomorrow, and that's at 1:00 p.m. And that's at the Pima County Justice Court, and that's with Judge Ball. And so make sure that you appear at that arraignment, March 12th, 2025, 1:00 p.m. If you're still in custody, then you'll be made available. If you're not in custody, make sure that you go to the Justice Court at that hearing, 1:00 p.m. tomorrow. Any questions about those orders?
No.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gray. Now you're excused. Thank you.
Verdict. All the way up, sir.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Verdict.
Sir, verdict. You're here today on 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of narcotic drug. These are felony offenses. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. Counsel is seated next to you for your assistance. State's recommending that you be released to third-party supervision of pretrial services. It is also asking that a steps court hearing be set. Is that still the recommendation of the state?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Burdick, you're being offered an opportunity to work with a type of diversion program, whereas if you could complete all requirements, the charges that are currently being posed against you could be dismissed and not charged in the first instance. So do you want an opportunity to avail yourself of this diversion program? And if we set a hearing next week in order at the Superior Court for you to start working on this program, is that something you can do? Ms. Fall, did you want to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
And is the defendant waiving time on the preliminary hearing?
He is.
Okay, so the court at this time will order releasing the defendant to the third-party supervision of pretrial services. Court will order setting a steps hearing in this matter March 18, 2025, 9:00 a.m. at the Superior Court. The preliminary hearing is set April 25th, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Justice Court. And so the court will order as conditions of release, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and to follow monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Pima County Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent Mr. Burdick. And so, sir, you have a couple of hearings, March 18 and April 25th. Make sure that you appear at the future hearings. Failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued. Do you have any questions at this time?
What should I do? I'm gonna go into this detox and do up the circle film like you. Stay on the just contact the attorney or what?
Yeah. You should receive contact information for your attorney. Just make sure you get in contact with them as soon as possible to let them know that you're going to detox. If it's a week-long detox or more, they may need to request maybe that it get continued out to the next week. You're hearing at Superior Court, but that's going to be up to them. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. Then whenever you guys are done, your excuse, sir.
Cardona? All the way out to Burdick. Burdick.
All right. Good morning, man. Take your name, please.
Francisca Cardona.
Mr. Cardona, we have you here for a couple of matters today. We're going to take those one at a time. First matter we have you here for today is some felony offenses for promoting prison contraband, possession of dangerous drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel, and counsel is seated next to you to assist you. The state is recommending bond be set in the amount of $2,500 plus release to pretrial services if bond is posted. And does the state wish to be heard further?
Your Honor, it would appear she has a post-adjudicated warrant and she's detained without bond, unless I am mistaken. And therefore, the state just asked for the nominal bond.
The what?
Okay. And so then, Ms. Ball, do you have any recommendations on behalf of the defendant?
So with the warrant, I guess I'm confused about why it's without bond rather than a bond attached to the warrant.
I don't know.
So that was just what I had in PTS went on the PTS website. It said detained without bond. Honestly, that's the extent of my information.
So just to the parties, I'm going to be setting bond on the warrant too, but we're going to do that. We're going to do that second.
But why?
So I guess, yeah, I was a little thrown off by the pretrial services language, but I didn't understand why it said held without bond. So give me just a moment to talk to her.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, sorry, I don't know if it was my turn to argue or not. So I talked to Ms. Cardona. So first of all, with regard to the Cochise County, she's in contact with her probation officer. It doesn't look like there's a hold. she's willing to, so if the court holds her in jail and then she's extradited to Cochise County, she has to pay the cost of the extradition. She's willing to go there and take care of the warrant in Cochise County. She's in contact with her probation officer. She's also engaged in a lot of rehabilitative activities right now that she doesn't want to, you know, she's making a lot of progress. And obviously, you know, she's accused of having drugs on her when she was being taken into the jail. She wasn't trying to do that. You know, she's struggling with addiction, Your Honor, but she was working on her GED. She was going to One Stop, and she'd recently obtained housing through our family. She is a case manager there. She really wants to continue with the activities that she is already going with.
Okay.
And she is willing to go to Cochise. She's willing to abide by any orders that the court puts forward.
Yeah, and it was federal, so my probation got switched over, transferred to Tucson.
Okay. She's let me know that there was also some confusion because it's a federal case. Her probation was switched to Tucson, so there's been some miscommunication.
My probation officer's comments, so I don't know why it got like I had not worried.
You didn't know about the warrant.
No,
And she didn't know about the warrant.
Okay.
State submits in its written recommendations, Your Honor.
So, at this time, over the objection of the state, the court's going to order release to pretrial services for this matter. Ms. Cardona, I'm going to take you at your word that you're going to get this stuff worked out. Typically, these offenses require a lot more by way of incarceration, but we'll give you a chance here. So the court order that you follow monitoring and treatment as directed by pretrial services. Court is going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, before I follow through with all this, can the jail confirm we don't have any present holds, correct?
No, we do not, Your Honor.
In that case, then your next court hearing in this particular matter is going to be March 31st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. for preliminary hearing at the Justice Court. Ms. Cardona, please make sure that you appear at future hearings. Failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued.
yes, sir.
And so then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next matter.
So
The court is going to also, as an additional condition of release, no alcohol or illegal drugs as well.
yes, sir.
And the next one we have, this is for the matter out of Cochise County. The court is going to order, again, over objection of the state, releasing you to the, I'm just going to release you in your promise to appear.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to order that you contact, not only that you contact the probation officer in Cochise County within 2 business days of release, but additionally, you need to contact the Cochise County Superior Court to get a court hearing and to address the warrant.
Okay, so but I gotta, and my probation officer is here in Tucson. Do I gotta tell him or
Talk to him.
talk to him and see what he wants me to do? Okay.
I'm gonna order that you contact Cochise County in
Okay.
either Cochise County
Okay.
or Pima County, your probation in either or both, just to make
I
sure.
got both of them, so I'll just.
Got it.
Yes. That would be the best.
And so then let me just double check really quick. So we doing the Ruby
It was a seller. I forgot what it was.
contact?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will do that.
So under this, what do we usually have? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you want to add the rest of the language there? Okay, sounds good. Okay. Okay, Ms. Cardone, we're going to give you a chance here. Please make sure you follow through. If you do not, then you may be picked up again and the next judge may not be as flexible, okay?
No, sir. I will do everything I have to do.
Okay, with that, then you are excused. Thank you.
This way, man, all the way out, like anybody else.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name, please?
Crystal Pine?
Ms. Klein, you've got a couple of warrants that we're seeing you for today. There's a warrant issued out of Pinal County, and there's a warrant also issued out of Santa Cruz County. These are for similar felony offenses for narcotic drug possession and drug paraphernalia possession. You have the same charges in each county. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel, and counsel is seated next to you to assist you. The state's recommendation in this matter is, let me see, let me pull it up. I didn't actually receive any recommendations. Did the state provide any recommendations on this one?
Maybe you're on Mrs. Dixon?
This is Klein.
Mine was a warrant, Your Honor.
So we just need to get our set warrant mounts. Okay. All right. So we have a couple of warrants that are set for you. I'm going to take the Pima County, Canal County one first, Ms. Klein. Ms. Fall, did you want to be heard as to setting a bond in these matters?
Your Honor, I don't have any information. I don't have pretrial services. I don't have an interim complaint. So I don't know the first thing about this.
Yeah, I think we just, law enforcement was just made aware of these warrants. We don't have a complaint. They were from charges in 2023 in both instances.
Did you? So she's telling me she wasn't like taken to jail. So maybe the information was mailed to her and she didn't get it, but she was not aware of the charges, Your Honor. So yeah.
Okay. What I'm just going to go ahead and do then is, Ms. Klein, if the court releases you on these matters, can you take care of these warrants in the other counties?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm sort of taking it.
I was just,
Trying to take it.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's Pinal and Sonic Cruise. They pretrial updated their website.
Yeah.
All told, it's 2,500. So.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to try to do, especially because these charges, I don't have a lot of information about the charges. The charges are from 2023. They're for drug offenses, so it's not the most severe conduct in the world. Under the circumstances, I'm just going to afford the defendant a chance to try to get these quashed, which is going to mean you got to contact the courts in each county, Santa Cruz and Pinal, and try to get the matters addressed, the pending charges addressed, and contact them for a hearing. Does that make sense, Ms. Klein?
Yes, it does. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the court is going to order at this time, as to the Pinal County matter, releasing you and requiring that you contact the court. Is that something you can put in, or do you want me to put it in? Okay. Current warrant will be quashed at this time. To make sure that you check up back with the Pinal County Superior Court to get this addressed.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then we're going to go ahead and release you on this one. And then we're going to pull up the other one. That's for Santa Cruz County and Nogales. We're going to go ahead and quash the warrant, release you on today's date. Make sure that you follow up with them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions at this time?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay, you're excused. Thank you.
Hold on a second.
Mr. Dixon?
Okay, good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
John Blake Dixon.
Mr. Dixon, you're being seen today on aggravated driving under the influence charge. This is a class 4 felony. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. Counsel is seated next to you for your speech today. The state is recommending bond be set in the amount of $7,500 plus release to pretrial services. Any additional record, Mr. Poston?
State notes the severity of the conduct and the fact that he has a history of probation violation.
Okay. And Ms. Ball, any record on behalf of the defendant?
So, Your Honor, I'm not sure what the state's referring to about probation violate. Oh, I do see. Yeah, there was a 2005 case where he violated probation. But I hope this court can consider that was in 2005. While he's on probation now. It is unsupervised misdemeanor probation. So there's really like nothing going on as far as that probation. I'll note that this was a nonviolent offense. He's got a stable residence with his wife. He is asking for release, Your Honor. He's got longstanding ties in Tucson. And give me just 1 second. Okay. He's also let me know that he has a CPAP device and he's got a heart condition he's receiving ongoing treatment for. He is willing to abide by any conditions the court puts forward.
Okay.
Your Honor, the state would only retort that the county has NAF care. They are able to comply with any medical needs, to include sending people out for treatment.
And he's saying he sleeps with a device. It's like a specialty device. So I mean, I hear the state on the county having NAF care. I've seen clients who it takes quite a bit of time for the jail to get started on their care, and I'm unaware of the ability of the jail to accommodate a CPAP machine. And it is my understanding that those are specialty made for the individual.
Okay. At this time, the court is going to order setting bond in the amount of $7,500 cash that's secured with release to pretrial services. If bond is posted, conditions of release will include not to drive without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs, follow monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Pima County Legal Defender's Office is appointed. The court is also going to order that the Pima County Adult. Court's also going to order that the Pima County Public Adult Detention Center shall ensure necessary medical accommodation for the defendant to the extent it's permitted. And then the next hearing in this matter, preliminary hearing, March 21st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Justice Court. Mr. Dixon, make sure you appear in future proceedings. Failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. Any questions at this time? No. Okay, you're excused. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Fisher? Yes.
Good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Isaiah Sparty Fisher.
Mr. Fisher, you're here today on a charge of criminal damage. This is a class 5 felony. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. There is counsel seated next to you for your assistance. State is recommending, in lieu of no bond being set, that bond be set in the amount of $7,500. Any additional record, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor.
And then, Ms. Fall, do you want to be heard as to the bond recommendation?
So just to be clear, is there a hold on him right now? I know it says status Pima County Superior Court. I'm just unclear on if there is a hold at this time. No, I'm being told by the jail that there's not a hold. So, Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider, releasing him to pretrial services, given that there's no hold. These are criminal damage charges. And there was I talked to him this morning. There were some misleading statements in the pretrial services report about wanting to be in jail. That's not true. He does not want to be in jail. He was taken to the CRC and didn't want to be in the CRC. It appears that Mr. Fisher is both dealing with some mental health concerns and some substance abuse concerns, but he is on Suboxone. He's willing to continue taking that, and he'd like to continue taking that if he's released. If the court releases him, he intends to go straight to Kodak to get the necessary medication that he needs and any other care that he needs. And he does have a stable residence with his cousins.
Okay, thank you. This time, the court is going to set bond in the amount of $4,000 cash is secured with release to pretrial services. The bond is posted. Court will order no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, follow monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. And also, which mental health facility was this? You want to clarify that, Ms. Fall?
I believe it was the CRC.
Okay. Court will order Pima County Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent the defendant. Next hearing in this matter, March 21st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Justice Court. And so, Mr. Fisher, normally committing a felony offense while you have pending felony charges would result in no bond being set. The court is instead deciding to set bond in the amount of the approximate value of the damage that was alleged. And so if you're able to post that bond, you do need to show up at future hearings. Otherwise, if you're still incarcerated, you'll be made available for your future hearings. Failure to appear at future hearings can result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. Any questions at this time?
No.
Okay, you're excused. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Gomez?
Good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Mr. Gomez?
Mr. Gomez, we're seeing you today on an account of possession of a dangerous drug. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And because this is a felony offense, you do have a right to assistance of counsel. There is counsel seated next to you to assist you. State is recommending in this matter, first of all, can the jail confirm, do we have a DOC hold on Mr. Gomez?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Okay, so the state's the recommendation for Mr. Gomez then from the state is that bond be set in the amount of $3,000 plus release to pretrial services. If bond is posted, any additional record, Mr. Poston?
No, Judge.
And Ms. Wall, any additional record?
Your Honor, I'd ask that the bond be somewhere in the amount of $500. This was just over 1 gram of meth that he's accused of possessing. I don't know how long he'll have the DOC hold, but he might prefer not to be in jail if he, kills his number. He's in here long enough that hold no longer exists. And given the nature of the offense, that seems appropriate.
Okay. Right. At this time, the court will set bond in the amount of $1,000 cash is secured with release to pretrial services. If bond is posted, conditions of release will be no alcohol or illegal drugs, follow monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Pima County Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent the defendant. Next hearing in this matter is a preliminary hearing, March 21st, 2025. That's 1:30 p.m. at the Justice Court. Mr. Gomez, there's a DOC hold right now, which means the Department of Corrections has something they need to resolve regarding your case or some prior charge. And so you have a bond set right now, but even if you post that bond, you will not be able to be released until that hold is lifted. The court has reduced the bond requested in part because it sounds like you were cooperative with police. The court is appreciative of that, but nonetheless, some sort of bond should be set in order for you to get time served on the pending charges. So do you have any questions, sir, at this time about your future court dates or obligation to appear? Thank you. Your excuse.
Moreno?
Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name, please?
Teresa Moreno.
Good morning, Ms. Moreno. We have you here today on a couple of matters. We're going to take them one at a time. First matter we have you here for, there's a warrant that was issued by Judge Monroe on March 4th for failure to appear at initial appearance or arraignment. And that was related to pending charges. Just one moment, there's a couple of warrants in here. I'm just taking a look really quick. All right, so the first warrant then is, yes, was issued by the Superior Court for failure to appear You do have a right to remain silent because you do have pending felony charges pending. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel, and there is counsel seated next to you to assist you. The state is recommending, as to the warrant, that bond be set in the amount of $2,500 plus release to pretrial services. Any additional record, Mr. Poston?
No, Judge.
Okay, and then Ms. Full, any record on behalf as far as the Superior Court warrant?
Your Honor, it looks to me like if you look at the assessment page on the pretrial services report, it says that so she was originally arrested, and then the case was dismissed, and then there was a summons mailed to general delivery, and then she didn't show up. So she's shaking her head, which tells me she didn't get the summons. I think out of fairness to her, she should be given notice of when her court date is, an opportunity to attend her court date. Give me just one moment.
Sure.
And I don't have an interim complaint in this case, Your Honor. So I don't know a lot, but it looks like the nature of the offense is possession of dangerous drug. Given that it was possession, it would be my guess that it's a small amount because they don't charge a possession unless it is. It says here that she's lived in Tucson for 20 years. She's 46 years old. And there's one prior felony, and that was from 2017. So I think out of fairness to her, she should be released, Your Honor.
Mr. Poston, any additional record?
No, Judge.
Well, I'm seeing that if we look a little bit further down on the assessment page, we see that she was then arrested again on February 4th. She was arrested on the warrant that was issued February 4th, arrested on February 10th, had an initial appearance, and then was released to pretrial services that day. So I don't see why she would not have been aware of the hearing on March 4th under those circumstances. The court will set bond in this matter at a reduced amount, $500 cash is secured with release to pretrial services if bond is posted. Defendant is ordered to follow monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs. Pima County Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent the defendant. Prior release conditions are affirmed. There is a new arraignment set March 18, 2025, 1:30. And that's at the Superior Court. Mr. Moreno, please make sure that you appear at that. If you're still incarcerated, they'll make you available by video for that arraignment at Superior Court.
I don't know my reality. So you're gonna. When I first
So
March 18th, day is the 11th, so that's no week.
So, Ms. Moreno, we also have you on another resolved misdemeanor offense, failure to appear, warrant that was issued for matters in the Justice Court for shoplifting. And there's a prior charge of failure to appear. So you do have a right to remain silent as to these matters. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Since we're already holding you on the other matter, the court is just going to institute nominal bond in this case in the amount of $100 cash is secured. The court is going to appoint John Illis to represent you in this matter as to the misdemeanor offenses. And you are directed not to go to the incident location.
Misdemeanor attorney. That's going to be your misdemeanor attorney.
Next court date as to those misdemeanor offenses is tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. So March 12th, 2025, 1:00 p.m. at Justice Court with Judge Ball. And so you'll have an arraignment to resolve those misdemeanor charges. Ideally, Mr. Illis will get in contact with you before the end of the day today to talk about that. And so any questions, ma'am, at this time about the two cases?
No, thank you.
Okay, you're excused. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Ortiz.
Good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
My name is Peter Ortiz.
Mr. Ortiz, you are here today on charges of aggravated DUI, endangerment, drug paraphernalia, and possession of a dangerous drug. These are felony offenses. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. Counsel is seated next to you to assist you. State is recommending that bond be set in the amount of $7,500 plus release to pretrial services if bond is posted. And then Mr. Poston, any additional record?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Fall, any record on behalf of the defendant?
Your Honor, Mr. Ortiz is requesting to be released to pretrial services. He has a full-time job, and he has stable place to live with his daughter. While he does have prior criminal history, it looks like his last felony is from 2007, which is quite a long time ago. His last misdemeanor DUI is from 2006. He also works full-time. It doesn't want to risk losing his employment.
Well, I think what stands out to the court in review of the information is that this looks to be the sixth DUI that Mr. Ortiz has compiled. I simply can't overlook that in order to release on today's date. Court will accept bond recommendation of the state, $7,500 cash and secured. Release to pretrial services if bond is posted. Who are we appointing as counsel in this matter? Yeah, that would be Ortiz, number 14. PD. Okay. Court will order appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Ortiz. Court will order as conditions of release: do not drive without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Next court date is going to be March 21st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Justice Court for preliminary hearing. Make sure you go to future hearings. Mr. Ortiz, failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. Any questions at this time?
Wish I could be released. I can't afford bond right now, Your Honor. I have my job and to go to, and still don't want to lose my job, and I've lost my truck got impounded. I don't want to lose my truck either, making payments on it.
I understand, sir. What the court's taking into consideration is there's a long history of driving under the influence dating back for the last, by my court's count, 29 years. The fact that you haven't been arrested for manslaughter at this point for hitting somebody, I think that's a boon. I'm trying to protect the public here and making sure that we don't have somebody who has a long history of driving under the influence on the road. So, taking all those things into account, court is going to accept bond recommendation of the state, set that at $7,500. You will have a chance to speak to your public defender about reducing that, and the future judge on the case may be able to assist you in reducing that bond. But under the circumstances, this is necessary to protect the public. So at this point, then the court will excuse you at this time. Thank you, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Sponges? Oh, yeah, shorties.
Okay, good morning, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Dan Pontius.
Mr. Pontius, you're being seen today on two matters. We're going to take them one at a time. First of all, the court has been made aware of what's called a fugitive warrant that's been issued, I believe out of the state of Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. Pueblo County, Colorado. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel, and you do have counsel seated next to you to assist you on today's date. State is recommending that a no bond hearing be set pursuant to ARS 13-3856. And is that still the state's recommendation, Mr. Poston?
Your Honor, this is a situation where he's being held and the warrant states no bond, if I am not mistaken. State's simply asking to honor the Colorado warrant. And on the other matter, the state is looking at $7,500 based on the fact that it was contraband, and the Colorado warrant was a touch cryptic, but it speaks to something really, really bad. So the state is asking to, well, in lieu of having to go through a no bond hearing, the state would, considering it's an out of state warrant, $50,000.
Okay. Just one moment, Ms. Fall. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Fall, when you have, do you have any record you want to make on behalf of the defendant?
So I'm looking, I don't see what the content of the Colorado warrant is. I don't know if the state has information that I don't. Does the court have information about the Colorado warrant?
What the court has is that a warrant's been issued. It's based on the booking information provided by the jail. There's a warrant issued back on approximately on or around February 4th, 2025 for a charge of robbery out of Pueblo County, Colorado.
Oh,
So that's the limited information the court has right now. But can the jail clarify, is there a DOC hold already on Mr. Pontius?
yes. There's just one moment, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
No, Your Honor.
There's no hold. Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Fall, then that's about as much information as the court has right now, is that there is this warrant that does exist out of Pueblo County.
Your Honor, this is Lisa with Pretrial Services.
Yes.
The warrant appears to be a parole violation out of Colorado.
Oh, I see.
So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with this probation here, because they told me everything was good because they were doing it interstate and that I was supposed to.
Yeah, you're not muted right now, Ms. Fall. There you go.
Your Honor, I've talked to Mr. Pontius. He's let me know that he's in contact with probation. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. I don't know the situation with this parole hold in, or like Colorado's, how that works really with Colorado. If he is arrested here, how that works with his parole there. But it doesn't sound like there's a hold on him. He's doing what he's supposed to do on probation. It doesn't sound like there's a probation hold, and he requests to be released to pretrial services, Your Honor. He is working full time and doesn't want to risk the progress that he's making. He's made and will continue to make.
Mr. Poston, any additional record?
No, Judge.
I mean, it doesn't even, yeah, it sounds like what he was arrested for. I mean, it's kind of a lengthy statement, but it's for possessing crack cocaine when he was being put into the jail for allegedly having this warrant.
That's the found drugs.
And he's bringing up the point, these drugs were in the car and he was with another person. So there are some arguments that will be made with regard to this case.
Okay, I'm just trying to unpack some of this really quick.
I mean, if you think this doesn't mean that they'll be like, this is what the police said.
Okay. At this time, the court is going to order holding the defendant without bond. The court will set a no bond hearing March 17, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. with the Pima County Superior Court. And the court, court's also setting a fugitive warrant hearing at 2:30 p.m.
So, Your Honor, I'm just wondering under what authority the court is holding him without bond.
Okay. So it's just set for a fugitive warrant. Okay. Okay. So in review of the pretrial services report, it indicates that at Grand Junction, Colorado in 2021 CR 000078, a parole violation was indicated for September 19, 2023. And a warrant was issued February 4th, 2025. In review of ARS 13-3856, court finds that, or the statute provides that unless the offense with which the person is charged is an offense that is punishable by death or life imprisonment, or the person is alleged to have escaped from jail or prison, or violated the terms of release following conviction of a crime that is punishable in the state of conviction by imprisonment, then the judge or magistrate in the state shall admit a person arrested to bail by bond or undertaking, so on and so forth. So the court is recognizing that there's a fugitive warrant that's issued out of Colorado. And so I'm setting a fugitive warrant hearing in the normal course in Superior Court.
Give me just 1 second, Your Honor.
Sure.
So the court is saying that under 13-3856, it has the authority to hold him without bond.
That's my understanding. What is your record you want to make on that?
So I'm reading the statute and I'm just not seeing how the court has authority for that. Unless the offense with which the person is charged is an offense that is punishable by death or life imprisonment, or the person is alleged to have escaped from jail. Okay, that violated the terms of release.
Judge, I would wager to say that violating the terms of release would be applicable when he caught a new crime with the, of course, when he caught a new crime with the charge on contraband.
So, Your Honor, I guess what I'm not seeing is evidence that the conviction in Colorado is punishable in this state by imprisonment for a term exceeding 1 year. I mean, we just don't have any real information about that offense.
Your Honor, I'm looking at felony robbery, Colorado, and seeing what the potential sentence is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it's how it's punishable in the state of Colorado, not in, because it's the state of conviction, not Arizona. But I'm just go ahead.
Your Honor, Colorado revised statute 18-4-301 states a person who takes anything of value from the person or another supports representation can operate as a class 4 felony. And then cross-referencing class 4 felony, Colorado, penalty is up to 2 to 6 years in prison, fine of $2,000 to $500,000, and a 3-year parole. Respectfully, Your Honor, I would say that does fit the bill.
And Your Honor, he's also already served his sentence on that. So I'm not sure how that's affected by the fact that he's already served the sentence. So at this point in time, I don't think there is any evidence that he is in a position to serve a year more in prison on that. He's already served a prison sentence on it.
Judge Case, the state will concede that point to defense, and given that it is a parole violation, he's already served, the state's going to go ahead and withdraw its request for a no bond under ARS 133856, and in its place give a recommendation for a $50,000 bond, so that Colorado may have the opportunity to be contacted and, if needs be, extradite him.
What I'm just not clear on is why this is any different from any of the other cases that get set for fugitive warrant hearings at the arraignments, after the arraignments. Those folks are held all the time. Ms. Walt, can you clarify that for me? Why is this different?
My guess is because he's already served his sentence. That's what I'm saying. So, Your Honor, if somebody's not been sentenced, if they have a warrant for a serious crime out of another state, then that up to over a year in prison applies. But in this case, Mr. Pontius has already served his prison sentence. He's facing a parole violation, which could be a matter of a couple months. We don't know. I mean, maybe he's facing a year, but we don't know, Your Honor. I don't know the status of Colorado's prison system.
Okay. I mean, the statute states by its terms, unless there's some case that I'm overlooking here, that violated the terms of release following conviction of a crime that is punishable in the state of conviction by imprisonment. So why would a parole violation not fall under the terms of violated the terms of release following conviction? That's what parole is. It's release after a conviction.
Your Honor, the state would wipe the slate clean and submit to the court's jurisdiction. The state does see the court's point that probation is a form of release, and that in that case, it would apply, that being 133856. However, robbery, as we've established, is a felony. The 2 to 6 in Colorado. That says, it's not entirely clear. Well, let me go ahead and
this also says the whole sentence is, or the person is alleged to have escaped from jail or prison or violated the terms of release following conviction of a crime. I would say he's already done his prison term. So I don't think that language applies to somebody who's on parole.
Okay.
And given the constitutional right to bail, I think it's important that we get these things right and that we consider them. I don't think that this is intended to apply to somebody who's on.
in the alternative, Your Honor, we can give pretrial services time to speak with the Colorado Department of Corrections. Their phone number is all over the warrant, and ascertain these facts.
I think we're at this point. It's getting a little bit overly complicated. Here's what I'm just going to do. It's in this matter, the court's going to set bond in the amount of $2,500 cash is secured. That's in order to ensure the defendant's appearance in future proceedings. So I'm going to reduce the hold without bond. $2,500 cash is secured. I'll indicate that over the objection of the state. Court will appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent the defendant. We've got a hearing set on a fugitive warrant at Superior Court. I'm just going to affirm that for now, unless another hearing needs to be set. That's going to be set March 17, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. at the Superior Court. It should be courtroom 802, but I'll defer to counsel and the defendant to identify the proper courtroom on that. It's typically an 802. So as to this particular matter, Mr. Pontius, the court's going to go ahead and just set some bond in this matter. If you post that bond and you're released and you're able to post all bond that's instituted against you, you technically could be released. However, you do need to make sure you appear at future hearings. If you don't appear warrants could be issued. I think that I have the ability to hold you without bond because I don't see the distinctions between this case and another particular case, but I'm just going to go ahead and set bond out of an abundance of caution to make sure we don't have any potential constitutional violations that sort of derail things. So you will have technically an opportunity to post bond as to this this warrant that's issued. I don't know that another judicial officer is going to reach a different conclusion. They may decide to go ahead and hold you without bond if this warrant isn't issued. But I'm just going to let the next judge who takes a look at this make a call on that. But I'll set bond in the amount indicated. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next matter that we have for today. And that is going to be the pending local charges. And these charges, yeah.
I'm sorry, could you enter an order directing Petrol Services to sort this out with Colorado?
The pretrial services representative, any objection to that order?
No, Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay, so in that matter, the court will further order that pretrial services confer with Pueblo County, Colorado to determine further details regarding the status of the parole violation warrant issued out of that county. All right, and so then going now to the CR 2025-003172. Mr. Pontius, we also have you here today on some local charges for promoting prison contraband, organized retail theft, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have a right, these are felony offenses. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I see also we have a charge of fugitive from justice that's related to the warrant being issued. That's also a felony offense under 13-3842. You do have a right to remain silent as to these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Obviously, we're going to get more clarity as to the warrant issue. You'll be presented with additional information on that through assistance of counsel at a later date. State in this matter is recommending as to the local charges, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Poston, is that the $7,500 cash or bond plus release to pretrial services?
That's good.
Okay, and then any additional record?
No, Judge.
Okay, and then Ms. Full, any record?
Hold on.
So I'm trying to do that.
So, Your Honor, we request the court to set a lower bond for reasons that I articulated before. Mr. Pontius has also let me know that he's got a job. He's got transportation to court. He really doesn't want to lose his job. And it does look like, in looking at the interim complaint, that there is some kind of gray area with exactly what happened and his role in it.
At this time, the court is going to institute bond in the amount of $2,500 cash to secure. This is going to be essentially another bond that's instituted. With release to pretrial services, if bond is posted, conditions of release will be no alcohol or illegal drugs, follow monitoring and treatment as directed by pretrial services, not to go back to the incident location relative to the shoplifting charges. Court will order appointing the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent the defendant. And next hearing is March 21st, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at the Pima County Justice Court. Mr. Pontius, these are obviously very confusing proceedings, I think, for just about everybody involved, but nonetheless, you do have these pending charges and pending hearings. Make sure that you appear at future proceedings. Failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued, and you will have the assistance of the Legal Defender's Office to help decipher some of these matters and assist you with reducing bond if that's approved by the court and or resolving that parole issue out of Colorado. Any questions at this time? Okay, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
What's ocurrido?
Okay, sir, can you state the name, please? I'm sorry, can you say it again?
What's up, Trujillo?
Okay, sir, Mr. Drew, you're here today on a appearance for failure to appear relative to several felony and misdemeanor counts arising from conduct November 6, 2021. 2 counts of endangerment, 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count assault, serious physical injury, 1 count aggravated assault, 1 count criminal damage, 1 count DUI, and 1 count DUI drugs metabolite. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have a right to assistance of counsel. There is counsel seated next to you. And it looks like the warrant previously issued back in June 21st, 2023, with bond set in the amount of $25,000. The state is recommending to affirm bond of $25,000. Any record, Mr. Poston?
No, Judge.
And then Ms. Vol, any record on behalf of the defendant?
The jail's letting me know he has a hold, Your Honor.
Is there a hold, Dale?
Yes, Judge.
What type of hold is it?
Very court hold, sir.
I'm sorry, what was that? Yeah. I think I still have the other one still open on my end. I'll take that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just one moment. I'm just getting the other case file resolved out before we finish up on this one. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. And so then we have a felony hold then on the, so in light of the hold, Ms. Vol, any record you want to make on behalf of the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. At this time then the court, we have a hold that's pending. The court is going to set bond in the amount of $10,000 cash secured with release to pretrial services if bond is posted. That'll be over the objection of the state. We have some conditions of release: do not drive without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. Court will appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent the defendant. We have a new arraignment for the defendant, March 18, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at Superior Court. So, Mr. Trujillo, if you're still incarcerated at that time, you'll be sent you'll be made available by video for an arraignment over at Superior Court a week from today at 1:30. Make sure that you appear at all future proceedings. Failure to appear can result in a warrant being issued. Any questions before we conclude? Okay, with that we are all done for today. Thank you to counsel. Thank you to pretrial services. Thank you to the jail. We are going to stand at recess.